Welcome to Edge TV. I'm Matt Ackerman. Excited because this industry that we stand in is headed to a great crossroads, but could it be a transformation, and what should we be expecting? Joined by Brent Brodeski, good friend from Savant Capital. Brent, how are you doing? How are things? Welcome.
Doing great. Happy to be here and excited about the next few days.
Now, what are you feeling about, could this industry be heading towards a great transformation?
So this is kind of something that I've gotten pretty clear on in the last 60 days, literally. There was a quote that Bill Gates gave, and I'm going to butcher it, and it was a number of years ago, but it was something to the effect of, you'd be amazed at how little the world's going to change in 2 years, but you won't recognize it in 10 years. I think that's complete old school.
Okay.
That was back when you just had, internet and technology just kind of growing. I've become convinced that it's not going to take 10 years. It's going to be 5, maybe 3 years,
wow,
where our industry is frankly completely transformed. Why is that? There's AI, there is really the move towards data, structured data, the integration of FinTech, robotic process automation, scale, and really kind of the emergence of platforms, I think, in our industry. So, in my mind, I think it's used to be you could kind of, fast follow or kind of see how things shake out and then get on the bandwagon. I think there's no time for that right now.
So if I'm an RIA in this space right now, what do I need to do in order to survive and thrive in this kind of transformation?
Yeah. So I like to look at companies that we think of big tech. The best one I've come up with is Apple. You carry around your iPhone, the iOS operating system.
Mm-hmm.
We think of that as technology, but it's really a platform. It brings together people, process, technology, AI, packaging, branding, UX, UI. It brings all of this complexity into a package that, as a user, you could be 3.5 years old and navigate it intuitively, or you could be scared of computers as an 85-year-old and have no problem getting around your phone. They've brought all this complexity, simplified it, and as a result, it's amazing what it can do. I mean, if you think about what you get with your iPhone for $1,000, $100 a month, maybe $50 for apps a month, you get what used to cost tens of millions of dollars in devices that used to fill warehouses and didn't work very well. Now you carry around in your pocket, you look at it, 300, 400 times a day, and it's created a massive volume of value. If you think about things like media, they've gone from Apple computers to probably the biggest media distributor in the world. And you got the TV shows and movies they make, but then they can license you others, and then they'll let Netflix or HBO or Amazon Prime come on their platform, charge them a toll, and as a user, for a few bucks a month, you got access to the entire media universe. We think about that's absolutely amazing. And they've done the same thing with news, with exercise, all aspects of our life. So you think about that, what we get for a few amount of dollars is massive, and they're the most valuable company in the world.
So simplifying all this complexity is really what RIAs and advisors need to do in order to thrive now.
Well, yeah, I think the winners that are going to emerge are going to be platform companies.
Okay.
Now again, we can look at Amazon, we can look at Apple, we can look at Facebook, we can look at Microsoft with their 365 or Google. These are all platforms, but there isn't one really that exists today. Yes, there's FinTech, but that FinTech doesn't play nice. They don't talk to each other very well. You got data in 42 places, which makes AI and process automation almost impossible. I think the big transformation is that the programming toolkits, the access to AI, ChatGPT and Claude and the others, I think those are all coming together, and we're going to have this new transformation that results in the few winners will emerge, and a lot of them aren't going to be the ones we expect. Some of the biggest ones are going to fall behind. There's going to be ones we haven't heard of that race out front, but the net result is going to be the ability for wealth management firms, RIAs, to deliver dramatically more value to clients, to advisors, to the various constituents. And part of that value proposition is the owners, of those firms will do quite well as well.
Now, Savant's had such incredible success throughout all this. What's some of the lessons that you've seen along the way that ultimately has you kind of on board for everything that's happening here?
Yeah, so what I get really excited about, my favorite thing to do is to create value.
Great.
Right, and when I think of value, it's like, whatever your favorite pie is, a really big pie. And we're in one of those unique industries where, we can improve our clients' lives. Our mission is to improve 1 million lives. Now that might sound save the world-ish, and there's a little bit of that, but the cool part about our industry is that we're uniquely positioned to improve our clients' lives, to build opportunities for our team, to create a lot of value for shareholders, but also to have this trickle-down effect in the communities we serve. And so if you think about all that value we can create, and I think this emergence of AI and platforms applied to our business model has this opportunity to create the biggest pie you can imagine. And all of the constituents, clients, team, shareholders, communities, will have all they can eat and more. Now, I think, if you think about all the big firms, a few of them will figure this out, but I think most of them probably not. And there's others that maybe we haven't heard of, or some like Savant that you've heard of that will hopefully be in that short list. But it's going to be an interesting 5 years, and the firms that jump on this bandwagon, they're going to win.
Sky's the limit. But so with that in mind, are we going to see more consolidation? Do you think there's more deals in the offing coming as well?
So yeah, what's interesting right now, if you look at, say, the top 25 firms, there's a lot of data points that say they're typically valued at like 20 to 25 times even. Pretty tight range, and what appears to be frothy, at least compared to historical standards. My prediction is if we fast forward 5 years from now, we're going to have a bifurcation. There's going to be a subset of those 25 and a few from the next 25, and then a few that, again, aren't on the radar screen right now. They're flying below radar, that figure out this platform concept and creating this differentiated value proposition. I think their valuations will start to resemble tech, where you have they're valued on multiples of revenue and tech type revenues because what they will have done is figured out how to create scalable value for the advisors and the clients and all the participants that bake this pie, right? And so I could see that 20 to 25, the few that emerge, they could be upper teens. Now at the same time, I think there's the better part of those firms that are 20 to 25, they might fall down to mid to upper teens. What does that mean? That means that it will be really hard for those firms to catch up, because the firms that have created these differentiating platforms, their cost of capital will be higher, so they'll be able to pay more for M&A deals. Their organic growth rates will be higher. They're going to attract the best advisors. And in a lot of the firms like that, we've done 30 plus deals now, and most of the firms that we have partnered with, they just want to have a better toolkit, better capabilities. They want to be a part of something bigger, better, cooler. So those firms that figure this out, crack that code, will frankly sweep up an M&A and create scalable. What does that mean? I think there's been this buzz about the bigger firms. When are they going to start combining and merging? I think what will happen is those few that emerge will have the capital, the growth, the technology, the allure. Those that fall behind will realize we can't keep up.
Absolutely.
So I don't know if it'll happen in 5 years, but maybe in the subsequent 5 years, I think you have those firms that were behind the ball that get gobbled up by those that ran out ahead.
Excellent. Brent, some really great ideas. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah, thanks for the time.
For Edge TV, I'm Matt Ackerman.